2024. Let's start first with a riser, and this is a big-time riser. Now, you might think they're already pretty damn good. Penn State is my first riser of 2024, but, the last few years, Penn State has been in a position where they're below Michigan, below Ohio State. They just can't get over the hump against the Wolverines or the Buckeyes. But when I look forward to the 2024 edition of the Penn State Nittany Lions, here are players that will be true juniors. Drew Allar is going to be a true junior. We know how much hype is behind Drew this season. He's going to have a year as a starter under his belt. We know how talented he can be. How about Katron Allen and Nick Singleton? Yeah, they got at least 2 more years of college football still to play, coming off those tremendous freshman seasons for both Katron and Mr. Singleton. Those guys, they're all going to be true juniors on that team. And then you look at the defensive side of the ball, and Abdul Carter, one of the best linebackers, best young linebackers in the nation, best linebackers in the Big Ten this season. Imagine what he's going to be in 2024. They're going to build around those guys. 2023 was an excellent recruiting class for Penn State on the offensive line. Going back to the year before, of course, we know Nick Singleton, right? Of course, we know Drew Allar. Like, they recruited the skill positions very well, and then they went to the offensive line the next year in 2023. Okay, we know all of this, but I've been saying it for a while now. 2024 is the year of the Nittany Lion. I firmly believe that Penn State is going to be in a prime position in 2024 to not only compete for a Big Ten title, but to possibly compete for a national title as well. Let's dive into maybe their schedule a little bit. Penn State in 2024, they got to go to Indiana, to Purdue, to Rutgers. Not exactly a murderer's row of away games. Their toughest game on the road at Wisconsin, going and jumping around at Camp Randall. When you look at their home games, Michigan State and Northwestern, very winnable games. You look at Nebraska, should be a winnable game, especially when you consider the talent level of Penn State coming into Happy Valley, never easy. Now, they got to play Ohio State and USC at home. Now, even if they're able to split those 2 games, that could still be an 11-1 record, an 11-1 type of season for Penn State. The schedule is very favorable for the Nittany Lions. Like, you consider their talent, and even if they had one of the toughest schedules in the Big Ten, I'd still consider them a Big Ten championship contender. But then you take a look at the toughest games they have are in Happy Valley, and then their toughest game on the road is at Wisconsin. This is very favorable for the Penn State Nittany Lions in 2024. Let's move on to another potential riser. When I talk about Penn State, they're rising because they're rising to a Big Ten championship, a potential national championship level with the talent that they have, right, from where they are right now. 10-2, you look at last season, you look at 2019, I think going all the way back to 2017, they've kind of been on the outside looking in as it pertains to battling with Ohio State and with Michigan. Another potential riser in 2024 you have to take a look at is Nebraska. It will be the second year of Matt Rule's reign as head coach of the Cornhuskers. Let me start first with this. Jeff Sims ain't going to be one and done, folks. Okay, I don't know if he's that talented of a quarterback. I think he's going to do good in year number 1, but I just don't think he's going to be an NFL quarterback after 1 year in this Nebraska system. I believe he's going to be back in 2024, maybe floating around one of the top 5, top 6, maybe definitely the top half as quarterbacks in the conference. He might even be there at times this season in 2023 as well. So he's not going to be one and done, returning your quarterback. And then you look at guys like Thomas Fedoni, Gabe Irvin Jr., Xavier Betts. How about Malachi Coleman, after his freshman season, could have a big-time breakout season his sophomore season. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, they could all come back as playmakers for this offense. And a lot of these things of who might rise and who might fall has to determine who comes back to this team. But second year in a Matt Rule system, although the third year is generally the year when Nebraska, or I shouldn't say Nebraska, a Matt Rule team really takes a step forward. I believe maybe year number 2 could be the year where Matt Rule, and I'm not saying this is going to be a Big Ten championship type of team. I think they're going to rise to maybe an 8-win type of level within the Big Ten Conference. And when you take a look at Nebraska's games those years, at Iowa, at Northwestern, at Penn State, at Purdue, and at UCLA, home games. They got to play Indiana, Michigan State, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. They are at home. Penn State, they got to go on the road. But when you talk about the Big Four, that's the only member of the Big Four that they have to play that season in 2024. This shapes up very nicely for Nebraska in 2024 to possibly put some wins together and get back to that level where maybe they're winning 8 games, where maybe this is a team that's winning 9 games and the Colorado home and home series is in Lincoln, Nebraska as well. If they split the toss-up games, which is going on the road to UCLA, at Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, you split those games, you could possibly see a team that's 6-3 in conference. Maybe they go 9-3. Maybe they lose to Colorado and they go 8-4, but they could definitely rise up to where they've been. I think in 2023 they're sitting around a 6-6 type of level.